Good science, by definition, allows for more than one opinion. Otherwise, you merely have the will of one man, which is the basis of cult.
If it's not in frame, it doesn't exist.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
I'm funny how? I mean funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
Where you been?
Drunk. Wendy? Darling? Light of my life.
What is your one purpose in life?
To explode, of course.
I like death with sex. How about you, Casey? You like sex with death?
Yeah, so fuck up and die.
Do you know, I've got you beat, dude. I used to work in a movie theater, and we would take home big old fat sacks, like literal garbage bags, full of kettle corn and popcorn. And I guess we had like the cheesy powder, you could put that on there, but not as good as that fair stuff. But dude, we literally, I remember sitting on like the ground with like a fucking like love sack beanbag size popcorn bag in front of me, just eating popcorn, dude. Oh, baby, that was, yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Those were the days.
This is the Cult of Cinema Knowledge podcast.
Oh.
That's Jordan, the popcorn lord, Howard over there. I'm Levi.
Fattest stack of popcorn.
I did not have any of those. I got a lot of free pizza when I worked at Domino's, and it turned me off pizza for like a year, but you know how that lasts. You can be turned off of pizza.
You can't ever get off pizza, dude. No. Pizza's got a hold of you, baby.
No, pizza it's deep in my veins. I'm horribly But that's the thing. Ever since I haven't eaten, this is the least amount of pizza I've eaten my whole life, except for that year I was pizza relapsing. You know, pizza.
Yeah.
Because right now I haven't had pizza in a minute, dude.
You weaned off, dude. I mean, the last time you had pizza was probably when I visited, right?
Maybe. I ordered a pizza when we played that Blades in the Dark game a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
that was the last time I ate it. But I only had like one slice. Anyway, you know what's also pretty saucy?
What's saucy?
Segue, buddy.
Do you know what else is covered in cheese and bread?
Yeah, it is. The movie we watched, Wet Hot American Summer. Hello.
Woo! Yeah, we're continuing with the beautiful summer weather that we've had.
And I think it's interesting because it's like it's not a genre, but it's more like a setting. And
I get it. I get
and
the
a
feel.
vibe, you know, because it's like I was saying to my wife, I was like, "Yeah, what's summer movies?" And she's like, "What the fuck does that even mean?"
Yeah.
And I get where she's coming from. And I'm like, yeah, it's set in the summer, but also it's about the freeing. It's like I want fun, adventurous movies, and then I also want like sweaty, intense movies. You know, like I think a good one would be like Die Hard 3, which I don't think you've seen, but it's like
no, I haven't seen, but
it's awesome. It's just them sweating nuts in the summer trying to fight terrorists. Anyway.
Well, I'm like Con Air. Technically, you could call that a summer one, you know?
So many. That's what's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It is. I like a vibe. I like that we're kind of transitioning because we've done like 28 or something genres. Like we've kind of exhausted the genre. Or, you know, not exhausted.
There's only so many, and
right.
so
we're kind of just doing vibes more nowadays. Like
like we're doing 24-hour movies, one location movies. Yeah. Road trip movie, you know what I mean? There's a lot of like categories, let's say subcategories, as opposed to genres themselves.
But the genre we picked is summer.
Yeah,
and the movie that we're going to talk about today is Wet Hot American Summer.
It's got summer in the fucking title, bro.
Got summer in the title. You could even do that. If you're at a loss for what movie to use, just if it's got summer in the title, I'm sure it's gonna work.
I'll probably put 500 Days of Summer in the next poll.
Yeah,
but I don't remember if it takes place during the summer. I don't know.
I mean, well, that's the whole thing. It's their like a relationship, right?
Yeah.
I thought it went through. I thought it like spanned years, but is it just like
it's like a year,
just like
500 days
summer?
Or whatever? Yeah,
I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was
days.
like. Yeah,
I might do it. Maybe I'll just do the next poll. All people who's named Summer in it.
Wait, what?
Anyway,
wait, the actor has to be named Summer? Oh god,
maybe the
that
actor
would be nuts.
Or one of the characters.
Yeah, anyway. We just had Phil. Okay,
this movie.
let me give you a little synopsis at home.
Yeah, we're off the rails just like this movie. So it's thematically on point.
Travis has been like, you guys are off the rails lately.
Really?
Like, yeah, I know. We're not really. We're fast and loose here, baby. But we'll get to it. We'll get to Travis in a minute. Hello, everybody out there. I'm going to read you the synopsis right now. It's the last day. It's the last day for Camp Firewood, with everything riding on the romantic escapades of the weeks prior. And if you're too much of a loser to get that final kiss before going back to the real world, well then, you may never make it out alive. At the center of all the shenanigans is Beth, the struggling camp director, who's trying to keep everyone on track while she falls in love with the astrophysicist professor Henry, who's busy saving the camp from a deadly piece of NASA's space lab, with some help from the indoor kids. As for the young camp counselors, they're all doing their part, from rapid changing love triangles to dangerous waterfall rescues and motorcycle stunts, emotionally scarred insecure cooks, meta baseball games, swimsuits, talking cans, several inappropriate hookups, town visits, and the big talent show at the end of the night. It's showcasing some of the world's craziest performances. It all, I'm butchering this. It all culminates to the grand finale that saves the camp from the space lab, ending in a happy summer where everyone learns that camp is truly a magical place.
Beautiful.
And can I read you some? This is an amazing list. They during the whole time they shot this movie, they hung out together because it was shot in like 28 days or something. You know, they did like it was like a month. And so
I looked into the production just ever so slightly, just out of my curiosity.
And you know, it's funny, or that's what it was. It was like 29 days, and it rained like 27 of them. And so the irony is, like, it's, you know, like 3 sunny days they shot the outdoor stuff, and then the rest of the time it's like they were shooting around the weather, and like, so you can see like half the time it's like it looks freezing outside.
Yeah,
it looks, you know, drizzly. So
it's hilarious because I didn't know that until after the fact. But watching the movie, I did notice several times they would have an interior shot, and you could see outside, and it was pouring rain in the background.
Right.
And then they'd leave the building, and it'd be fine.
I loved it. Yeah.
Honestly, I thought was a 100% purposeful, given the rest of the movie.
Right. How thought out everything seemed to be. Like all the jokes and all the gags. Like the production value of it seemed intentional.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
it worked with like the way it was edited and the kind of goofy nature is going for it.
Yeah. But let me read you some of their during this shooting, they all lived together in the camp. On the camp. They literally just slept in the bunks. So it was like all the actors were together. Very similar to the last movie that we did. Go watch that. Stand By Me. Go listen to that for our old podcast there.
Watch it, listen to it.
For the first summer, yeah. Watch, listen. You can watch it on YouTube. But some of the names were amazing, dude. They did like American Love Bunk, Name Tags and Underwear, American Wedgie, Ankle Biters, the movie. And then my favorite is Associate Professor Newman Goes to Camp, Blue Balls, Boner Camp, Buddy Check, Cabin Pressure, another favorite of mine, Butt Camp, and then Morning Campwood, and then Hot Kids in Shorts. And they had Postcards from the Cot, which I'm like, oh, that's kind of fun. That's like a different vibe. But then Suck My Big Hard Camp was one of my favorite. It's like, this is like that scene in Clerks, dude, where you're like reading all the porn. It's like, there's Slow Dance Boners, there's S'mores, Don't Stop, and then Taco Meat. Taco Meat Drips, which was like amazing. And then like Hard Camp was another one that they kept calling it.
Hard
so like
Camp.
the whole time it would be like the production call list would have a different name written on it.
That's
and like
hilarious.
it sounds like there was a lot of like creativity just like crammed into one, one
it makes
camera.
sense that it's like this. I don't know. I'm curious about the script because though I've heard it is, fairly well, it's written and it's funny and obviously it shows sometimes. It also shows that like this is a troupe. This is an improv troupe. Like they were all, isn't that right? Like they were all an improv troupe. Like not all of them, but like the main group originally. And that makes sense. The fact that the name's changing every day and they're just like rolling with it because it's like today, Boner Camp, scene 1A, take 2,
Yeah. And I think everyone has like, they come from a background in comedy.
Yeah.
Except for what's his name? Cooper? Bradley Cooper? Is it not
Yeah,
Bradley Cooper?
Bradley
is it?
Cooper.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
He like literally, I think he was shooting this film while he was graduating. Like he graduated from film or from whatever acting school. I don't remember what school it was. But he
funny.
like graduated during the shooting of this.
Before we
So
get
he,
too crazy into like the details of the movie and everything, I just want to get your like regular first impressions. You've seen this before, right?
Yes. So I've actually, weirdly enough, I've seen this movie a bunch of times, but it's always been just chilling, watching Comedy Central, flipping through channels, and it popped on. And this was back in the day. So for the kiddies out there, you used to just have television, and you would just change through the channels.
Just browse and it'd just be
this is
on.
my boomer humor here. It's like you would flip through, and then Comedy Central wasn't a streaming service. You actually just watched it. But no, I used to flip through it, and like this would come on, and I'd always just catch it in random parts. And so I've never watched all of it, and it's wild. I didn't realize until we did this podcast. It's got a lot of sequels and it's got like franchising.
Well, that's recent though. That's like the last
Right.
5 years, right?
Oh yeah, 2011 I think was.
Oh, really? They did that? I thought it was
Yeah, it was-
2017 was like the first one.
Because it was the 10-year reunion.
Yeah.
Is when they did the 10-year reunion. Is when they did like a 10-year reunion, and I don't know if that's a miniseries or a movie. Not 100% sure what that is. And then Netflix did a miniseries,
Yeah, I saw
which was
that.
just recently, right?
That must be the 2017 one I was thinking of.
Yeah, and I think they do that one as like a prequel, but they use the same cast, which is pretty good. That's golden, you know.
It's funny because they're much older.
That's a good
and they're
bit.
like the first.
And they're playing younger versions of themselves. It's great. Yeah, I enjoy that. I can see. Man, I don't know, dude. I think I have like a weird nostalgia for this because it's like I've never truly cared about it, but it definitely has like. In my notes I wrote, what did I say? Like, did this influence comedy for the next 20 years?
I wish.
And I think yeah. I think it did though, dude. No, really though. You think about it, like a lot of shows that came after this, even in the Office and Parks and Rec world, that have some of these same, creators. It's like, I don't know. I feel like the absurdity in comedy was allowed to flourish because of this movie. But this movie wasn't super successful. So I don't know.
I think in the sense of like dialogue, yeah, because it's like this is obviously after this is when you got like, the Judd Apatow era, and then like some more of these guys where like people were more improvisational in their dialogue, but as far as like the actual structure of the film and like the editing and just like the overall actions were much more still like they got to go to the scene and they talk about this. Go. Here's 2 cameras. Be funny. You know what I mean? I feel like that element definitely transferred over because that never used to be a thing before the digital age. I feel like.
Yeah.
But
because I feel like the
movie,
predecessor to this. Oh yeah, if you want to finish.
Go on.
No, I was just gonna say this feels like Airplane just for Gen X, like just,
yeah, I mean totally. Yeah. This is the whole time. So this is my first time ever seeing it.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I've never seen it. I knew nothing about it, and to be honest, I did not want to watch it.
Okay.
It's not that I didn't want to watch it. It's that what I thought it was basically what it ended up essentially parodying. Like it looked to me like it's a comedy, like a fun, raunchy, goofy sex comedy that takes place at a camp, and it's maybe got some heartfelt moments of like a very much akin to like American Pie or something of the era.
Yeah, dude, I totally know what you mean.
I thought it was, and so I mean, I was like, cool, I'm down. I mean, I'm fine with that kind of movie, sure. So I popped it on, and it was like, I was watching it, and it was like pretty zany, and I'm like, okay, that's fun. Like the dialogue is, and like they would like, kind of like, I don't know, just being kind of crazy with some of the dialogue. It was pretty funny and wacky, and they had like funny sound effects and stuff that it seemed kind of off the cusp.
Can we just say that real quick? that terracotta pot breaking,
So good.
that breaking, that
slayed me. That slayed me.
That bit is I mean, jumping ahead a little bit, but that's my favorite. That's my favorite part.
Later when he's like throwing, it just throws it off screen and it's just anything
just throws,
shatters.
yeah, anything. It's like it drops like he dropped the fucking he dropped the spade, like the fucking shovel, and it's like
the pot breaks.
it's the same number. It's like or the same noise. It's just like that is like that little detail is so perfect, but it is kind of like when I was watching this, every time I watch it, I'm like, oh my god, it's genius. It's like I'm like no one's ever done this, but then I'm like, it basically is just, you know, an updated version, a little more like sporadic version of Airplane, which is still has that same kind of.
I definitely think
energy.
that's the closest parallel is like, the spoof movie or the parody film. You know what I mean? Like the closest you're gonna get to this is like, like your Austin Powers or like any of your Mel Brooks films or whatever. Naked Gun, Airplane, that kind of shit. Even Scary Movie, the movies that they like have that tongue in cheek, quick joke within the scene, and I feel like you don't get, again, in comedies you very so often get. It's like that fourth wall breaking where it's like they're making it just a straight up environmental joke written into the scene. Like I feel like you don't really see that in comedies that much anymore, where it's like it's the dialogue, it's the action, it's the editing all together to make something funny. Whereas nowadays comedies are a grounded story that just happens to have funny people in it, but like these stories are not really grounded. They're 100% fiction and they know it. But I feel like this is not quite that, because it didn't click for me what it was doing fully until the scene where they go to town. That was when I was like, okay, I get it. And then as soon as I knew what they were doing, I fucking loved it after that. I thought it was hilarious. Like when they go to town and I'm like, oh, that's fun. They're having a crazy wacky time montage and they're just, oh, look, he's snurfing all the fries and they're smoking weed. Oh, now they're buying cocaine. What?
Yeah.
Now they're robbing some woman like on the street, some old lady. Now they're shooting up heroin in like a crack den.
Yeah.
And then they just come back and they're like, oh, that was fun.
No, it's because it's to me, I love how tight the jokes are. Yeah. I think overall as a whole, this movie is fine. I don't know. I think I gave it like 3 stars on Letterboxd, and it's like I'll stand by that.
You gave it 4.
Did I give it 4? So I'd still stand by that. Honestly, if I had to watch this again like tomorrow, I wouldn't be bummed. It's like I like it enough. I don't know, there's just something about it where it's like it isn't dumb enough like a scary movie. Like I guess it's because it's not super poo-poo humor,
Yeah, it doesn't go full into parody mode. Like I would say this is
kind of does. I mean, it does.
It's like a light parody into like the Meatballs, the Porkies, like all those like camp, those like horny camp movies of like the 80s and stuff. And so it is parodying that for sure. But also it's just, I don't know, something about like the abstract comedy in this of like
but the joke of that when they come back from town and he goes, well, it's just good to get out even for an hour. And it's like that kind of like they're like how they kept their timeline. Like every single thing about this, every single thing has a joke written into it. So that was like that's like the talented, that's the part that I'm impressed with, is that every single thing that happens, every single scene has a joke, and it typically falls into the next scene.
It does.
Something happens, and that's the part I'm impressed with.
But it does feel it's interesting because it feels. I want to get a look at the script because it feels like the writing process was like that, where it just kind of like was this insane acid-filled rabbit hole to the next thing. It's like just like this fast space, like and now there's a thing falling from the sky, and we're gonna make a detector out of fucking donuts and shit. But like the following that scene too, it's like there's a lot of moments on set you could tell was like very just like when a scene's over, they just run in different directions. People just run into the woods, or they just run like right after that scene. He just goes and runs and stands up against the wall in the background.
Okay, I wanted to know about that. I wanted to know why they all just lined up. I wonder if that was like that had to have just been like a joke in the scene. Like they probably all the actors were supposed to just run away.
Yeah, I
and
feel
so
like
they
it was
all
just
ran
goofy.
and lined
Like
up.
they just like went like, what do I do? Okay, I'll just stand over here, I guess.
Yeah, like
You know?
well, I bet you one person did it and all the rest followed, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is so funny." And it's just like you can tell that they're having like a fucking great time making this, and
Yeah.
that's nice. I like seeing that, but you know,
You got a lot of butts. What you keep saying butt.
I know, man.
What
Well,
is
but
it?
can't butt.
What's your
Um,
cynical old man view here? Lay it on
No,
me.
I
I
don't
can
know.
see it in your eyes.
I don't know, man. I don't know what. Like, I guess the thing is like it's weird. I sit in this balance where it's like I gave it 4 stars, which I'll stand by that. But then I'm also like,
Sounds like
it's
you don't
not.
want to stand by it.
No, I do. I'm happy and healthy. I think maybe it's just like I'm coming off of it, now, and I'm kind of like, it's fine. I don't know, I'm like, I'm flip-flopping on it because
That's
I
the
think it's
thing.
funny, but I think I'm kind of like, because every time I watch it, I feel like, oh man, all the movies before it were like, we're trying, or this movie
Like this is the
basically can only
benchmark. There's only before Wet Hot American Summer, and then there's after
and
Wet
kind
Hot
of
American
after.
Summer.
And and I do stand by that, where it's like, if we didn't have all the movies before Wet Hot American Summer, it wouldn't be as funny. Like even down to like, how you didn't criticize it necessarily, but you didn't say you liked the fact that they used donuts to build that machine to like change Skylab. But that's like it's such a zany, wacky thing that like has would have happened. It's weird how it feels. Everything feels like a joke, but it could fit right into like your standard, 80s, silly comedy, stoner comedy. Like, like Easy Science or what? Or not Easy Science. Oh my God. Now I'm spacing out what that dumb movie is. Weird Science.
Yeah.
It's like it just like feels like something that could exist in Weird Science.
No, I don't think so. Though.
Without batting an eye. But no, but that's the thing. I feel like it could though.
Now
And
I
then,
feel like this
uh,
this movie is not like it's barely. I think that's what makes it special to me. Is it's barely grounded in its own fiction. Barely. Like it is bursting at the seams. It's like a random stream of consciousness down this like path. And I think that's kind of a beautiful energy. Like honestly, I rated this movie 4 stars on Letterboxd as well, but I don't think it's like 4-star movie. I honestly think it's probably in quality like a slightly less movie. But I loved it because it has this raw energy to it that I really like. And the jokes are really funny, but it's the way that all the jokes are delivered and the way that it's edited. Like this final product seems like very hard to replicate. Like it's kind of just like it's amazing it ended up being what it was, and that's why I'm curious to see the follow-ups to see if they were able to kind of create that energy. And I've heard mixed opinions on that, so I'm curious to check it out myself. But like, Weird Science or any of these other movies, like they can get pretty like there's a spectrum of like I said, a grounded movie that's maybe got like some relationship elements, something that can happen in everyday life that happens to be just kind of have some laughs. And then you got something that's like takes a premise that's a little bit more crazy and pushes it further. And then you literally have like spoof movies, which are like take this thing and they're making constant jokes at the third wall. We watched Blazing Saddles not so long ago, and there's like every scene is like a set piece is a joke. There's improvisation with the actors. It seems like the writing was very just kind of flowy. But this movie seems like somewhere on the outskirts of all of that, where it's like it is that kind of, but it's like it's a Venn diagram of like this weird chaotic bubble that I feel like it barely follows its own logic, but in like the best way in that it doesn't have any logic. Like it feels pure like chaotic. Like if there's like a chart, yeah, it'd be like, I don't know, good chaotic. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's chaotic good, like full on. Like I don't know, because it's like
Right,
it's just nonsensical and just.
But I guess it's just I think the impact of
Sudden.
it. What I'm trying to articulate is that movies before it had to exist because the impact wouldn't be the same. Because it's like everything that happened in this movie feels familiar, but yet, like you said, it's kind of on that fringe. It's right on the cusp of being too much. Where scary movies have kind of cannibalized themselves and they've just become this like real, they just kind of trash jokes that are super simple and like, they're just like they're kind of like
Yeah. I think that's the
gags.
difference though, dude,
And
is for me anyway, is it what stops it from being like a direct spoof is those movies like Scary Movie rely on you knowing something about scary movies in order to know what they're subverting, what they're doing to make comedy from like the genre's tropes.
and that's what I'm saying. I think that's why this movie's so strong.
I honestly think that you can watch this movie and know absolutely nothing about any of those other movies, and you get nothing extra from it. You miss no jokes. You don't have to know anything about Summer. Like, I've never seen Meatballs. You don't have to know those.
I know,
And does it. I don't think it benefits from it either. That's why I'm saying it's like I feel like it's different. I feel like it stands aside, not above, but aside from your regular spoof movie. Like I don't consider it a parody film.
I don't consider it. That's what I'm not trying to say that it is a direct. It's not a scary movie. It is not. I'm just saying it benefits from having the films before it, but it's not directly ripping anything off like a scary movie.
Right.
Thus, that is why I like this movie. I don't know. We're like in agreement, but not in the same way.
Every movie benefits the movies before it. I mean, every movie builds on something. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean,
I see what you're saying, but this movie, I feel like just as much as like Stand By Me or something like that, which was our last movie, is more set of like this weird youthful vibe. Like it's almost kind of punk rock in its way of like in like an adolescent kind of way.
Kind of reminds me of The Outsiders is like the vibe I get from it.
This would be my recommendation, skipping ahead a little bit, but you know a movie I was thinking of while watching it? This is the comedy version that has all the same characters of like Slacker. That's what it reminded me of. For some reason, even though Slacker is like a little bit more like it's more vignettes, there's different characters. But
Slacker doesn't really have the energy. I mean, I guess it does. I guess but it's got like it's not in filming, but
yeah,
some characters have.
Slacker's much more of a written meditation on all these different ideas. This movie felt like somebody did a bunch of whippets and then ate Slacker and then threw it up, and then tried to piece it back together. Like that's what this movie felt like to me. Like this movie felt like out of control, kind of. And I think that energy was really fresh for me. I really liked it because of that. Yeah. It was like jokes were just unexpected, and they got me. Like just when I thought that was good, I just get slammed. You know the hardest I laughed. It's not even my favorite joke. But you know the hardest I laughed when Vic or whatever he leaves the kids on the river.
Yeah, dude. No, is it the oh fuck yeah, dude? That
the oh fuck when he crashes into the tree.
Yep,
slayed me because he's just singing, driving down the middle of the road, screams oh fuck, and then it's just a sudden brutal, just the way it cuts.
Yeah,
it's just I don't know, like that's what makes it feel like the stream of consciousness. Like they're going and then car crash. Like why not? It serves
right.
Like it barely moves the story forward, and then they're like okay, and then what? And that's what gives this. Even the writing feels very improvisational because it's like, okay, yes, and then his friend steals a motorcycle. Okay, great. He's trying to chase him down, but he doesn't get him, and so he jumps over a hay bale. You know, like I mean, he can't get around the hay bale because isn't that goofy? It's just a hay bale.
Yeah, it feels like kind of, they feel young and fresh, but then I feel like a lot of these characters have. I mean, clearly, it's like 90% of this cast has gone on to continue making great projects.
Yeah.
And being in great projects. So it definitely like they had the chops. It wasn't just like it's one of those movies where it's like it hits and you're like, wow, that's pretty good. What happened to them? And then they're just like gone, some early 2000s.
No, but it's funny because where everyone goes from this, because the only thing I did know about this was that Paul Rudd was in it.
He's great, yeah.
And it's so funny because he definitely seems like he's like acting the most, but like in a good way. Like they're like, okay, you're You're the bad boy. And so, I don't know. It's just so goofy. Like, I just imagine him on set. It seems so fun where you just get to be like, God, you're smothering me. Like, constantly. Just him throwing the tantrum about having to pick up his bill.
Right.
And they're all supposed to be like snotty teenagers, but they're all like 30. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, it really does have some good, like, that's good, like, that is kind of, yeah, that's like scene work. Like, they do, like, that scene where he's, you know, picking up the stuff and it's like all of his just like, you know, body language and everything. It really, like,
it's funny.
God, I don't know, dude. That's the thing. That's what I like about it.
Be
it's like,
this goofy character. Like, just here's your persona. Go off the rails with it.
Right. And it, like, yeah, it's fun. It, like, you can tell that, like, I don't know, it is smartly crafted. Like, they gave him enough time to do that, but I feel like he could have gone longer, but they knew when to, like, all right, you know, we'll cut from here. This is it. You know, he had the good comedic timing too. You know, I'm sure on set there's a lot of, you know, back and forth. And since everybody was basically on set the whole time, I'm sure there was a lot more.
It's fast paced and it's meta, which I like. Like meta before meta became like such a more of a thing, which I think is something of the, you know, tropes of like more of like a spoof and all that. But it's even like, okay, gang, we got the rival team coming.
Dude,
we're gonna.
That's
he
like,
gives the speech like we're gonna come in the last minute and all come together.
Yeah, that's like that was the scene watching it this time where I went like, oh wow, that's like, I don't remember that scene at all.
Like, isn't that a bit trite?
That's
Like,
one of the smartest. Yeah, dude, that's like one of the smartest scenes ever written. I'm like, holy shit! Like because it literally is like he just explains like the plot of like every single sports movie ever made before.
Yeah,
so
many. And it's just like the Bad News Bears and everything all rolled up, and they're just like, nah. And he's like, yeah, I'm fine with it. He talks to the other guy in the bus. He's like, he's cool with it, and they all leave.
Cool with it. Yeah, right. Everyone was like, yeah, just like happy. Yeah,
that's what's great because it even takes that you think it's gonna. Because obviously, if they would have done that, it would have been great, and they would have had all the jokes for it. And they still turn around and then do it with like capture the flag and everything, and then like the big talent show. But it's just like, I don't know, that flow. And I know Thomas, if he's listening to this, I love how many kids died in this,
dude. No, and I love it because it's
hilarious.
Like two confirmed kills, and then two like pretty much there. I mean, they were left on their own, so who knows? It's like
thrown out, abandoned on the side of the road. I like he's just like, you're supposed to not let me drown. He's like, God, I'm busy. Making out with too much tongue.
But I love it. Like I love when he's in the boat and he just like the kid drowns and he just looks at the other kid and like you know from the previous scene. It's like it's good. It's a funny movie. I love that.
It's a funny movie.
It's a funny movie. But the camp where they shot this didn't know that it was going to be like kind of like a stoner flick, like like cheap laughs, raunchy film.
Yeah.
And so they got really mad. It was hilarious.
Really?
Because they shot the movie
They're
there.
like, it's called Boner Camp. Oh my God.
well, right. Yeah. I mean, I assume they just said like, oh, it's a summer camp movie. We're making it with everybody. And so like they probably, whoever was there, the true or the camp director was like, probably just saw some scenes and were like, oh, this is funny. Sure. Because when you shoot a movie, it's so pieced together. You can't really tell what's going on. Yeah. Even like a makeout scene, it's kind of like, well, who knows? And so it's just like they shot it. And then when the camp saw it, they were like, we can't have you do this. Like it can't be part of our camp. And yeah. But I'm like,
that's too bad.
Yeah. Fudge 'em. Do you have any Reddits?
Of course I got Reddits.
I can,
probably.
Yeah.
I didn't pull them up though. But it's because it's right. It's like I like how it picked and choose which quote unquote tropes to use, because it did, of course, like use the montage trope to the extreme when he's like, "Oh, I've been rejected and now I'm gonna go be a better man," and like he's like, "I grew," and it was like an hour.
I grew. Yeah, he's like, I've grew. He's like,
I've changed since earlier today when we talked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Changed. And then I love that like there's nothing safe in this. Even the second you think like, oh, he changed, and then it's goofy, and then he got the girl, and you're kind of like, oh, cool. So like they're gonna keep that trope where he's the nerdy kid and he gets the girl at the end, even though there's been like chaos in between. But then she just goes, "No, I'm a horny kid. I just want to. I'm 16. I just want to fuck."
Yeah.
Like she leaves him. It's
And
it's
it's
like
hilarious.
fantastic.
Is it Molly Shannon's character where she's the camp counselor whose
Oh my
husband
God.
left her?
Well, dude, yeah. And it's like,
And the
it's
kids
kinda,
are all just like, hey, like it's just super serious in the moment, but like that. See, that's
Yeah.
beautiful writing because it's like this really dramatic moment that would be in like, it would be in what I was expecting, but
Well,
the fact
yeah.
that it's being delivered from this grown ass woman and like these like 9-year-old kids,
yeah.
or like I guess they're like 11 or 12 probably, but it's hilarious. It slays me. And they're like come around, they're like, hey, it's okay, just
Yeah.
breathe. You are your own independent woman. He's like rubbing her shoulders and shit. And then they at the end they're like engaged. They're like getting
They
together.
fall in love. Right. And it I'm like, I wrote that down in my notes. I was like, they went full pedophile.
I
And
know,
it was still funny.
full pedophile.
They went full pedophile, and it's still really funny. I'm like, oh no.
Well,
But they actually were gonna go full where they kissed, like they made out, the kid and
yeah.
the Molly Shannon, but then like they both were like on set and they were like, this is awkward, this is not appropriate.
I better
And
not.
it actually was better. It was like a better scene to not have them do
Well, that's
that.
always weird that happens. Like, I was kind of reminded of the last movie I watched that kind of had that weird undertone, which is like Honey Boy. Remember?
Oh,
But,
yeah.
it's like you ever been with a girl and it's like them, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that kid is definitely underage. Don't like to the to the actress. Like, I don't know. It's really funny. Even the talent show where it's like the weird dude is like ends up bringing this psychic storm.
I know, right.
That's
I love how it's like, yeah, anything could go. So it's like the whole time I'm watching this, I was like, oh man, what are they gonna do next?
I know there's so many things. It's like, so help me God, but you don't have crabs. He's like, no, well, yes, but this is not about that.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, meet me at the bench in 10 seconds.
In 10 seconds, and then she stands for 10 seconds. And like, yeah.
Did you count it? You sat there and counted it, right? You have to.
Well, yeah.
I was literally like, did they actually do it for 10 seconds? And then so I counted the whole thing, and I'm like, I mean, it's like 10 seconds, but that's fun. It's
I wonder what the timestamp is though from when he says the words. I wonder if it's actually
right.
It's probably 10. I would imagine that's like easy to do to edit that.
All right.
But
So stringring.com says, yes, this is such an amazing and unique movie. The reunion TV show 20 after the movie is amazing too. Such prodigious actors at such an early point in their humble beginnings, mostly stars. Except for the cook and Paulie are, they're superstars. It's just such a constant laugh ride, especially followed by the much delayed sequel, which even magnifies the ridiculousness and amazing overdoneness of the first movie. But standalone, this is a movie that will sit warmly in your nostalgic heart and retain all its giggles in posterity. Someone just likes that. I want to check out this. See, it's a show, which I wish it wasn't. I wish it was a movie.
Oh, is it a show? Yeah, I'm kind of nervous because I remember Arrested Development when they came back. It wasn't as great, but who knows? I mean,
again, this feels like it's got the energy of like this youth lightning in a bottle thing going on to me.
Yeah.
Which I feel like would be like, I hope they probably capture some of the writing still, because that never goes away. If anything, that gets perfected probably. But the energy of like filming on set and everything the way they did before being all these big stars on a set.
Right.
But I'm curious to check them out.
They shot the new stuff on green screen apart because everyone was too busy to get together. So it's all like there's only like they never had the whole cast together.
See, that's
so
what's much harder, where it's like you can't have like, oh, I had a funny thing in the moment that's like, just do it. Like, let's just do it and see what happens, you know?
Yeah.
So Wu-Tang Clan Thug 9mm says,
hell
you
yeah.
can tell everyone had a blast making it. Everyone just works so well together, and all the humor feels so honest and organic. Undetachable Penis says, you taste like burger.
That's so. Yeah, that's good.
I know. It's just like in between cuts, she's just getting more sauce on her face, and then
more
later,
sauce.
And it's sad because it's like the whole time.
I don't like you anymore.
I didn't know a lot of the actors like going in. Like I was just like, oh, there's Paul Rudd, and then I was like, oh, that's what's his face. God, why am I even forgetting it now? The guy we were just talking about, Bradley. I'm like, oh, look, Bradley Cooper, and then like, oh, Amy Poehler, cool, or whatever. And but with her, I was like, oh, was that Elizabeth Banks? What the fuck? And because I had no idea she was in it, and now because she's in a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff I like, and now I'm always gonna be like, she's the chick that tastes like burger at summer camp.
Yeah.
Like,
I love yeah, the amount of sauce on her face. It's perfect.
and then Gummy Bear Attack says, did I miss out growing up? Why does it always seem summer camp movies are so horny? Obviously, this one is parodying that a bunch. The movie is a silly ride that's easy to love the whole way. My favorite scene is either when Cooper says he wants her inside him, or when they're planning their reunion in 10 years and one of them has an appointment at 11 on that day. They've already moved twice. Both hilarious to me. Also, unlike another comment, I didn't enjoy the recent sequel to it. I felt like a case where they jumped too far into the ridiculous and lost some of the magic along the way. The actor who played Cooper directed The Big Sick, which is what he said at the end, which I've yet to see. But I looked it up, and that is true, because I want to see The Big Sick, and I've heard it's very good.
Me too, yeah. That's cool.
That's funny. I know. See, that was... yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
That was a moment, too, when it was starting to click for me, when I was just like, is this dude just insane? The dialogue where he's like, no, I can't. I have a schedule that day. Let's just be early. You're like, well, I'll be in our mid-20s by then, like implying that they're all like 16.
Yeah,
you know,
because they're 16. At the end, she's like, "I'm 16. I just want to have sex."
I know, but it's funny because they're all like, you know, I mean,
clearly in their 20s.
Some of them are
already.
younger, but they're clearly in their 20s. If not, some of them are not even older. You know.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Did you? This is a spoiler on a spoiler. Did you watch the end credit scene?
What? There's an end credit scene?
You fucking dummy.
I was watching it, but then my wife and dog had already left the room, and so I didn't want to sit in the dark like a freak.
All right. Well, you don't have to be self-conscious in your own home, bud. But no. The end credit scene is like the icing on the cake. It's such a beautiful. It's almost like this movie shouldn't have had a reunion. You know, it shouldn't have a sequel. But I mean, shoulda, woulda, coulda. It's fine. It's cool that they did it. It's fun.
It's fun they did it. It shows that they loved it.
Right. And it's like
which you feel. You know, some movies you watch and you're like, this looked difficult, or like, man, that must have been really hard to get in that headspace, or that was a paycheck. But this movie is just like, that's the filmmaking experience I yearn for, buddy.
The end credit scene is that joke. They literally, they're all like, it's like, it says 1991, 9:35.
Oh, really?
The dude shows up and he's like, oh, I thought we said 9:30. And then everyone's there and they said, oh no, we said 9, so we'd be here by 9:30. Yeah. And that's it. That's the end credit. It's beautiful.
That's fun.
So
I like that.
Yeah. So it's the end credit scene in that is pretty dope. And this was like before there was like end credit scenes like
I know.
Standard. You remember that? Like that became such a thing where it's like you had to stay.
It's like now I look it up. Like I'll sit through credits in theaters a fair amount of the time anyway, but usually I got to pee too bad.
Yeah, I know. Right.
But yeah, it became such a thing. Another thing I thought was funny, just and then I'll see about tracking Travis down or something, or if you have a money minute.
Yeah, we could do.
I thought it was funny. Another thing where I liked that the other character that worked in the kitchen talked to the can first, but the can didn't talk back, and then the can didn't start talking back until the chef talked to him, and I loved him, and his intensity was hilarious. But I was literally like, the can started talking. I'm like, is that H. John Benjamin too? Like, what the fuck?
Oh,
He's in this as a voice acting role, which becomes like, it's like his career. He's like such a voice actor. For those of you who don't know, that's Archer, Bob's Burgers, Coach, whatever his face, what's his name from Home Movies?
My first, I know, dude, I'm spacing it, but my first introduction to him was Venture Brothers. He's the voice of the devil, or not the devil, the demon world. When you go into the demon world, when no, my God, now I'm spacing names. But when the weird magical dude, their neighbor, oh my God,
oh yeah, God, what is his name?
God, I love that show, and I'm spacing his name.
I've only watched like the first 3 seasons of Venture Bros.
Dude, I have all 6. You should, you should, dude. You really should. It's such a good show.
Thomas keeps telling me to rewatch it.
Wow. Now I'm pissed. I can't think of his name. I'm a loser. But when he goes to his realm, the other plane, the astral plane, it's John Benjamin doing the voice for his mentor, and it's like,
it's funny,
dude. And that was like, so it's funny because when I saw this movie, I was like, oh, that's the dude from Venture Brothers.
Really?
And
I mean,
and then he went to like Bob's Burgers, was like the biggest thing I can think of right now.
yeah. Well, and he's Archer, which was huge.
Oh,
but,
sure, yeah.
I've been watching a lot of Bob's Burgers lately, so it's like he really stood out in my head because of that. It's the one show my daughter and I can watch together.
Oh, you could watch Archer with her. Archer's
That's true,
but I think it's boring.
Bob's Burgers is a great show.
It's colorful.
It's solid.
Do you if you want to get Travis, or I can lay a money minute.
Lay a money minute on me while I pull up the voicemail, will you?
Hey,
Two guys, solid.
It's kind of weird. So on IMDb it says it's 5 million, but
I'd read that like during the promotion he said 5 million to try and bring people in, but it was like 1.8 or something.
It was exactly. That's okay. That's okay.
What
that's
I read.
Right, because that's what they were saying.
But he was trying to make it sound better than. Oh God, we should have done that. We should have said our movie cost $100,000.
I know.
Like,
yeah, right, really though. But anyways, yeah. So it's like 2 million, and then it only grossed 300,000. So it's like it was a flop.
Oh, yeah,
but then it clearly they sold it to Comedy Central. That's where it like fucking took off like wildfire, dude. But
I can see that. Well, it's like because I've heard of this movie, you know what I mean, and it's like, but I just didn't know other than the name and like the poster and like the occasional screenshots I've seen. I had no idea what it was about, and so but I could see now, having watched it, why it has such a cult following. Because I will definitely 100% rewatch this. I will get real stony baloney one night and just watch it here months from now to just have a good laugh. And I'm sure I'll pick up on a lot of jokes that I missed the first time because a lot of them were quite rapid fire.
And it is rapid fire. Can you edit this out? I have to pee so bad. Yeah. I will not be able to make it to the end. I know we've got like a few minutes here. You want me to or I guess you want to clap or something? Or
no,
whatever?
It doesn't matter.
I clap. You just edit this out. Or you can even play Travis's message. I listened to it earlier, but all right.
You're good.
All right, I'll be back. You just edit. My bladder cannot
take your time.
Handle it. I drank like an energy drink right before we started.
Dude, you did this last time too.
I know. So I was like, I'm just gonna go now. I can't rush through it. Well,
that's fine.
You can cut that. Cut that, please.
As long as I know where to cut, it's easy.
Yeah, it's like 49 or something. But anyways,
Anyways,
yeah, let's rock.
Are you ready for Travis's voicemail? I'm gonna give it to you right now.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully you can hear it, but I guess you already listened to it, so.
Yeah.
It's fudgy.
Hey guys, Wet Hot American Summer was a huge letdown for me. Not since The Matrix Resurrections have I been so disappointed seeing a movie that I've waited years to watch. Some of my favorite comedians from Reno 911, The State, and SNL fill this non-funny camp movie. To me, it feels like there's so much talent that they cancel each other out, and we're left with a bunch of kissing scenes. So my question today is, can you guys think of any good non-horror summer camp movie? Or do you think horror movies should have a monopoly on summer camps? Thanks.
Dude, he hated it. Travis,
I know.
I can understand why, though. This movie is really not for everyone. And I honestly think part of the reason why I liked it is because it was so unexpected for me, and I had low expectations going in. But thanks for calling. And that was a good question.
Yeah. No, that's a solid question. And I get, dude, I'm like, I totally understand what he's going through. Like that when there's a movie that you're like, because you're like, okay,
we came at it from like, this is their humble beginnings. This is them. Like, I get it.
And it's like this movie has really no negative. Like when I was reading through, like YouTube comments and like Letterbox, it like nobody had any like critique. It was like wild. Like everyone was just like, they loved it, and so when Travis like hated it, I was kind of a little floored, but I'm like, I totally get that. When you're going in and you're expecting something and it just doesn't click with you, and it makes you even more like down because you're like, what the fuck? Like you're like this didn't work at all for me. And
I've been there. So Travis, are you telling me I should not watch the new Matrix movie? I haven't watched it yet.
Dude, and I literally today was like, fuck, I really want to watch all the Matrix. I want to go through and watch them all.
Didn't you watch the new one? Did you watch it?
No, I haven't.
I remember you were excited for it though.
I was super psyched for it, and I heard great things right when it came out, and now it's kind of, I don't know. I'm not even like gonna worry about that because I know what it is. I watched a video essay on it like an idiot because it's like I love spoilers. And so I watched like a video essay. So now I'm kind of like, I kind of just know, because I was like, am I going to watch this movie? So I watched video essay.
Spoilers
like, okay, cool.
Rarely bother me like that. Sometimes studies have shown that a lot of times it'll make people want to read it more if they like it.
Right.
If they like the twist or whatever, or they read or watch something more. I'll watch it one of these days. Because I like the Matrix trilogy for what it is.
But I 100% agree with you. When I think of summer camp movies, I think of two. I think of horny teen comedies and straight up slasher.
Slasher is the number one first one I think of because you're right. And to answer your question, the only good summer camp movie I can think of off the top of my head that is not a slasher movie is this one. But good being subjective.
Heavyweights, that was one. Did you ever see Heavyweights?
No, but
that one's fun.
I want more horror movies in summer camps because I do feel like that was the thing for a minute. And I realized, did you ever watch the Fear Street movies from this last year? The Netflix Fear Street trilogy. I'm in the minority. I didn't really like it that much. But the second one is by far the best one, and it takes place pretty much all entirely in a summer camp.
Did we watch Fear Street? Or we watched American Horror Story did a camp one.
Did they?
Yeah. I watched that. Did I watch Fear Street? But so it's like
I remember
horror does dominate.
It does.
I do
you
agree,
think like,
Travis.
Obviously. Oh yeah, because have you seen The Final Girls is all at a summer camp?
Right. I mean, we watched Sleepaway Camp for one of our.
We did Sleepaway Camp, which honestly, that's what I was waiting. I was waiting for this movie to end in like, if they're going like spoof style, like end in like kind of like a goofy slasher vibe, like, because that would have been kind of fun, honestly, if this had like just a kind of underlying slasher element, because kids were dying.
Yeah, no, I really actually did expect that. Oh, dude, Fear Street was cool.
Did you watch them all?
I did. Yeah, Fear Street was dope. Actually, they had some pretty good like fucking the murder. Some of the like the kills in that were pretty dope. Yeah,
I think I was mad because I got like hyped because I liked what they were doing. Where it was like, oh, they're like building on this huge story, and then they're going back and like building on it some more. And I feel like they didn't do what they could have done with it. Especially the last one, I was really disappointed because it's a little bit of a tangent. But the third Fear Street, it was like, back in like in the colony times in like this 1666 is the last one. And I was fucking hyped because it looked cool and it started out cool and I loved that era for horror films, and then they just like fucking bungled the whole story. They didn't stick the landing for me, which sucked. But the second one was really cool at the summer camp. But I feel like the second American Pie has some summer camp vibes. I'm trying to think of other summer camp movies now, but there really is not that many.
No, I mean there's like Ernest Goes to Camp and shit. There's some like straight up just like disgusting slapsticky comedies, which I'm like, we should do an Ernest month one day, man.
No, we shouldn't.
I think I've only seen one Ernest movie in my entire life, and so I don't even remember.
I got scared by the Ernest Halloween movie for sure.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, it spooked you out.
Yeah, Adam's Family Values. Let's make a.
Oh yeah, Adam's Family Values. That one's fun.
Let's make a. I was gonna say that kind of counts, but it's only like half. It doesn't really have that much camp. Is Moonrise Kingdom?
Oh right.
Like
I mean, that's fair enough. But it's not. It's like they're on a camp out essentially. It's not like there is like that certified actual, camp, but it's like
I want to this vacuum of summer camp movies makes me want to make a unique summer camp movie or write a story setting in it. I'm gonna think of a short story or something.
Stop animation,
dude. Everything's gonna be.
Let's make it animation, baby.
I'm gonna make my version of the Blob, but it's gonna be a blob-like creature at a summer camp.
At summer camp, yeah, because summer camp is a dope. It's such a genius place to put characters.
Isolated,
you can
but there's
isolate
like a lot of area.
Yeah, there's still structure. There's still like a lot of scenes to work with. A lot of
based around youth. I guess this is good a time as any. I wasn't even gonna bring it up, but it seems natural. Is so natural. Have you ever been to summer camp?
Oh, God, no, not technically an overnight or thus weeks and some summer camps are like fucking the whole summer. Yeah. I don't really know how. That's probably like, it's weird. I always thought like summer camp was for rich kids, but then I guess I don't know how they portray it is like they ship their fucking kids off in the summer because it's like parents don't want to be with their goddamn kids.
Yeah,
which I don't, brother. But it's like fucking. Much. I went to quote unquote camp, and it was a Star Wars camp. Up like Grand Camp or up like Little Cottonwood or something.
You fucking nerd! You don't even like Star Wars, and you probably pretended to love Star Wars there too, you fucker.
No, I didn't at all.
You were the one kid. You're like, well, as a matter of fact, Luke Skywalker is a douche. Like,
yeah, no. I definitely didn't actively hate it. I mean, I think like the aesthetics of Star Wars is fun. It's cool. I'm just not into it.
That's the
lore.
That's the 100% best part about Star Wars.
All I remember is going to Star Wars camp, and it was just a day thing, and we literally made boondoggle fucking lightsabers. Come on now. Black at the end, red or blue at the tip, whatever you wanted, dude. And then we met Darth Vader. So some fucking bozo was in like a cheap ass, Halloween costume, and he walked through. And I remember the fog machine blasted me right in the mouth, and I was like pissed because it was like right when you walk in, it was on a shelf, and the fog machine just blasted me, dude. I got like a mouthful of fog juice, dude. I was like, oh man, it was like I will never forget. We were meeting Star Wars in this meeting Darth Vader in this dumbass fucking room. I got fog juice blasted up my nostrils, man.
That's hilarious.
It was like, dude, it was warfare. I should have sued.
You should have, yeah. You should just got like a blood clot or something.
I know, dude. Who knows?
Suffocating wrong on that.
Could be my respiratory. I have like sleep apnea now because of the fog juice.
I turned to vaping because of it. I went to summer camp once. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know this about you. Look at that.
It was like I
learned something new.
It was like 10 days or something.
Holy shit! Okay, that's like
so it was like a big thing at our elementary. People would go all the time to Mill Hollow. That's like the one in this area is Mill Hollow, and it was a school sponsored thing where it's like after the school ended, it's like you could sign your kids up for it, and it was like it wasn't that expensive. I recall, it was like $100 or something. Mm. And so my mom, I went to Mill Hollow twice, and once in 5th grade and once in 6th grade, and in 5th grade, I don't really remember. It was pretty boring. But then I went again in 6th grade with a bunch of friends and stuff. And I had a blast. I remember it pretty well. There's like a lot of campfire songs and like all the boys slept in one.
Yeah, and classic.
The camp counselor like woke us up with a guitar.
Just like in the movie.
It is, yeah. It was pretty fun. We made boondoggles. We like burnt wood with magnifying glasses. There's like all these kind of like things we could go to, but it was weirdly unsupervised because now thinking back on it, the counselors, everyone running the place was fairly young, and I do remember me and all my friends like going off into the woods and just like hanging out in the woods, being goofy, and I told in one of the comments it was sort of horny, but for a 6th grader, probably too horny, but I did kiss a girl there.
Oh, you did? Oh, dude. True love. Do not tell your wife.
Her name was Savannah.
Savannah?
Yeah. But,
don't tell Mary.
Yeah. Mary's been to Mill Hollow too. And we both grew up poor as fuck. So it is not for rich kids.
No, well, right. I always thought it was because I never went. I went to a Star Wars camp because it was sponsored through it was sponsored through like I don't know. I don't know how it does. I don't know how much it costs to be a Boy Scout. I was a Boy Scout for all of like a week, and that was part of it. It was wild. Okay, anyways, but I've been to like it's wild how there's a lot of like unsupervised. Back in the day, dude, when I was in Boys and Girls Club, and it was like 16-year-old kids who took care of everybody. When I was 16, I don't want to take care of a bunch of like
no, absolutely not. And it's funny because it's like in 6th grade, I probably would have been like this movie had to have just come out.
Yeah, right.
Right around then, right? I think I went to Mulhollow in like 02 or 01. Anyway, kind of fun. I wonder if my camp counselors had watched it, any of them, and they're being goofies because I remember I really liked our guy. I thought he was the real Coop of the gang for sure. I was just like, oh, Coop, you curmudgeon, we're gonna come back here. And I swear to God, we said like we're not gonna come back here in 10 years, but we had that conversation like we'll be friends and we'll come back, and if we're not married and by the time we're 30, we'll come back and we'll get married and we'll be all best friends forever.
Oh hell yeah, dude! I love that pact, dude. That like blood pact where you like cut your palm and shake, and you're like, we're gonna get married when we're 30 if we're lonely. That's how come you had to get married quick, dude. You were almost turning 30.
It was coming up on the pact. I feel like I was even younger in the pact. I was like, by the time we're 20, because it seemed so far away.
Yeah, right. Like you could never approach 20, and yeah.
I'm like 20 seems so old. I just can't wait to drive. Anyway,
you can drive now though, pal.
I do it every day, buddy.
I don't.
I know you don't. I was about to say. It's the last time you even.
Well, I drove today.
And you drive long distances too.
Yeah. I do that
quite often.
I'm actually a skilled driver. When we moved, I drove the van down our sketchy driveway, so I only hit one trash can. So, dude, not yet.
Good job. I'm hiring you. Anything else? I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah, I mean, if you liked this, go watch another camp movie.
I do think, honestly, it's not the same, but for some reason in my heart, it made me want to rewatch Slacker real bad. Linklater. I think Slacker is 1,000 times better movie. And it's much more thoughtful. It's better written, and it's. But I do think that in a way, the style of it is the like flow of it inspired this movie, I feel like, in a slight way, and like the indie filmmaking nature, because obviously Slacker was part of like the early 90s indie boom.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Fuck, Slacker's good.
Dude, Slackers is so good. We should find a way to watch a Lick a Letter.
We should,
something like that.
Maybe we'll.
Or I guess you did try to put Before Sunset into one of our genres.
We do need to watch some Linklater. We haven't. I tried to get him in a lot. I tried to get him in a. What was the other one we did where I tried to do a Scanner Darkly?
Oh right, and a Scanner. Oh yeah. A Scanner Darkly.
A couple months ago.
He didn't do. Who did what is that, like Life is, or no, Waking Life? He didn't direct that, did he?
Yes, he did.
He did. Okay, that's what I thought. Because I was like, they're both like. I couldn't remember if he directed it or if he made his own in that style, but he just did that both.
He kind of pioneered. His newest movie's all in that rotoscope style.
I know that.
Apollo 10.5, which is also pretty good.
Yeah, I gotta watch.
Check it out. Yeah, dude, Linklater. Let's get on a Linklater kick. Maybe that's what we do.
That'd be cool. Anyway. But yeah, for anyone who wants to hear us, we do Cinema Rambles. We're gonna post one of those onto our Spotify and our Podbean, our normal
so you guys can all listen to it.
Yeah, we'll go through. We gotta off the air. We'll talk about which one we want to post, but we'll post one on there, and you can kind of get a taste for what we do. It's our other podcast we do with David, and I think you'll like it. It's fun. We riff more. We're not as focused, even though this we're loosey goosey on this bad boy too.
It is pretty fun, but it's chaotic.
Yeah, but I love doing them. You can go to patreon.com, type in Cult of Cinema Knowledge, and we'll pop right up, and you can subscribe for $1 and just subscribe for more if you'd like. It really helps us out. Yeah. We have some awesome patrons already. Thomas, Kylie, Landon, parents. Thank you.
Yes. go to the Reddit, get in on the conversation. Thank you to everyone who actually dropped a comment on the Reddit. I do appreciate that because, first and foremost, I want people watching these movies. And thanks to everyone on the Facebook that's even doing it.
I know.
Glad you're out there. Shout out to those guys. Wherever I can get you, I'll take you. If you want to do it on the Facebook, do it there, great. If you want to come over to the Reddit, great. If you want to just fucking call in with the phone number, great.
And that phone number is 801 613 1501.
I thought you were going to start saying it at first, but you didn't have it in front of you, and you were like, 801.
Yeah. Oh, baby, I got it locked and loaded.
I keep doing this because I'm just an idiot, I put up the poll on Sunday, wanting it to end by the time we do the podcast Tuesday nights.
No, yeah, I saw that.
And the poll is automatically set for 3 days, and I keep needing to change it to 2 days or just do it on Saturday and then have it for 3 days. But so we still have 24 hours left on the poll technically. So it's anyone's,
close, dude.
It's anyone's game right now. And God, I'm gonna fucking butcher it. But Ye Tu Mama Tambien is winning. Chances are we probably will be watching that next week because it's got a healthy lead. But still, talented Mr. Ripley could sweep in and take it. Even Florida Project if people get crazy. So go vote. If you're listening,
I'm actually really excited. It's like it'll be dope to get. I want more foreign movies. It's like fucking.
Me too. Well, I'm excited.
Wild.
I'm surprised that one's winning, and I'm glad though because it's that's Alfonso Cuarón's movie. It's one of his early movies that I've not seen, and I've always wanted to. I've heard it's good, so I put it on there because it fit the criteria, and because a lot of times I'll put movies I haven't seen either. So, and if there's a movie you want to watch, put it on the post. Some of you guys have already been doing that, and if we don't pick it, it's probably because we've already watched it for the podcast.
Yeah, that's always kind of a. I know
times.
there's
I just don't want to.
Yeah,
which is less often.
All right, I was gonna say no. Yeah, we'll throw anything. We'll take.
That's true.
We love to have your feedback, and we love hearing from all you wonderful people out there in the world. And I did make my shirt. I made the can.
It's the can of the mixed vegetables.
So
it's gonna tell you just be yourself. Just be honest with yourself.
Yeah, I know, right? Really though, smear mud on your ass if you really want to.
That's true.
I do.
Yeah, you do.
What?
Anyway,
that was good.
Thanks for listening.
You guys are cool out there. Love y'all.
So cool. Goodbye.
Praise cinema.
Praise cinema. Praise be its name.
All right. I just